I will show you the deriving the quadratic formula. I will just simply teach you how to easy step for deriving it. First, we must know the standard form of quadratic formula. Now, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Now let's proceed to the next step. Divide both sides by a. We'll divide it by a. Now, it will be like this. X squared plus bx over a plus c over a equals to 0. Now, next step. Subtract c over a from both sides. It will be x squared plus bx over a plus c over a to negative c over a equals to 0 to negative c over a. You just simply cancel this, and the remaining values will just be like this: x squared plus bx over a is equals to negative c over a. Now, let's proceed to the next step. Divide the coefficient of the x term b over a by 2. b over a squared, it will be b squared over 4a squared. Now, let's then square it, add those both sides. It will be x squared plus b over a plus b squared over 4a squared is equals to negative c over a plus b squared 4a for the next step. Simplify by factoring the left side and adding terms on the right side. Now, it will be x plus b over 2a x plus b over 2a equals to negative 4 AC over 4a squared plus b squared over 4a squared. Find a common denominator first. It will become x plus b over 2a squared of 2 equals to b squared to negative 4 ac to 4a squared. Then, the next step is take the square root of each sides. Then it will become square of x plus b over 2a squared equals to positive negative square of b squared minus 4ac of 4ac squared. It will become x plus b over 2a equals to positive negative square of b squared minus 4ac of 2ac. And the last step for getting the quadratic formula, subtract both sides by b over 2a. It will be x is equal to square of b squared negative 4ac over 2a. And now, that's the quadratic formula.
And I will give you an example of quadratic function. First, I will give you the given of the quadratic function. Now we will find the coefficient ABC. A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to positive 4. And after that, I will give you the quadratic formula. And after that, we will substitute the given coefficient into the formula. Now, we will solve it. This. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 4. Copy the plus and the minus sign. Negative 4 squared is equal to positive 16. Negative 4 times 1 is equal to negative 4. And copy the multiplied by 4. All over by 2. Because 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Now, we will move on. Now, we will just simply copy the x is equal to 4, positive and a minus sign, and then solve the 4 times 4. Negative 4 times 4. It is equal to negative 16. Then, square root it, divide by 2. Now, 16 minus 16 is equal to 0. We will omit the square root sign because there have no square root in 0. Now, 4 plus 0 is nothing. 4. Only 4. 4 minus 0 is only again 4. Now, x is equal to 4 divided by 2. X is equal to 2. This is the... In quadratic equation, it have always 2 value. But in this case, it's have only 1 value. Because any number subtracted and added by 0 will also have the same value as itself. So, 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. And that's my report. Thank you.
Hi, I am Navy Gardner, and I will be discussing the second example of quadratic formula. And I also solve for the x. Which is, the given is x squared plus 2x equal to 3. As we can see, this equation isn't the proper form, so first we need to subtract from each side. So there's a 0 on the right, which now we can use the quadratic formula to get our answers, given that a is equal to 1, then b is equal to 2, then c is equal to negative 3. Now, this is ready to solve for quadratic formula. The formula of quadratic is x is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Then now we're going to substitute all, which is x is equal to negative 2 positive negative square root of 2 squared minus 4 1, then negative 3, and then over 2, then 1. Then we're going to solve it or simplify. X equal to negative 2 positive negative square root of 4 minus 4, then copy negative 3 over 2. Then we're going to simplify. X equals to negative 2 positive negative square root of squared 4 plus 12 over 2. This comes here, as we can see. Then x is equal to negative 2 positive negative square root of 16 over 2. Then we're going to get the answer. X is equal to negative 2 positive negative 4 over 2. Now, we can get the two answers of x, which is x is equal to -1, positive -2. And then, the two answers of x is equal to 1 or x is equal to -3. And that was the two answers of x. If you're wondering where the answers came, it is because here, when x is equals to -1 plus 2, the x is equals to 1. That's the second answer for x. Just because of x equals to -1 minus 2, it equals to x equals to -3. And that was the two answer for x. What if you get a negative number inside the square root? That means there's no possible answers, but this is also the possible something to look up. That was the end of my discussions for example number 2 for quadratic formula. Hello there. Now we will tackle about the squeeze theorem and some of its examples. Suppose we have a drawing like this. The x and the y. And we have a point of intersection in this. And suppose we have another function which we call g of x, another function as f of x. The concept of the squeeze theorem is that when another function is dropped between the two functions, g of x and f of x, and we will call it as g of x. Let's say the idea of the squeeze theorem is that when the bigger function f of x and the smaller function g of x is intersecting or having a point which they will find their limit, and because the h of x is in between these two functions, the limit of this h of x will also be the same on the limit of these two functions, which we will have if the limit of this function is L and the limit of this function is also L, then therefore we can conclude that the limit of this function h of x is also L. It's because it is in between the both functions. Now let's take this example. The limit as x approaches 1 of 4 is less than or equal to the limit as x approaches 1 of h of x, and is also less than or equal to the limit of x, which is approaches 1 of x squared plus 6x minus 3. Now, the limit of 4 or a constant, the limit of a constant is also the constant itself. So, we will have this as 4. It is less than or equal to the limit as x approaches 1 of the function h of x rather, and is also less than or equal this function will just be substituted by the as x approaches 1. So we will have 1 squared plus 6 times 1 minus 3. So we will have a 4 less than or equal to the limit as x approaches 1 of the function h of x, which is less than or equal to 1 plus 6 minus 3, which is this is equals to 4. So we will have a 4 less than or equal to the limit of as x approaches 1 of the function h of x and is less than or equal to 4. And since
And since the two functions here have the same limit, which is 4, therefore we can conclude that the function here, which is in between these two functions, will also be equal to 4. Let's write it in this way. The limit which as x approaches 1 of the function h of x is also equals to 4. As I said a while ago, the limit of a unknown function will depend on the two functions which it is put in between of them. So when the function will be equal, the unknown function a while ago, we can just have the value or the limit of the unknown function that is depending on the two functions here and here. So that means that if the two functions or the other one function is greater than the unknown function and the other one is less than the unknown function, that's the time we can have a limit that is the same with these two functions. Thank you so much.
Just discussing squeeze theorem. Now, first of all, you need to draw a partition plane. Now, always know that when a line, example, the name of line is fx, and another line is g of x. Now, there is always a collision, or what you call coordination. There is on coordination, let's find out which one. Example, that coordination is on A in x-axis and L in y-axis. This coordination named L of A. Now, to get the squeeze, let's find out the distance between here and here. Now, this is the squeeze. Now, let's name it. Example, H. Now, there we have a formula to get the squeeze. First formula is the lim. Example, to get the formula, lim is if lim fx is greater than equal to h, or what we call the squeeze. Now, greater than equal again to g, x. To simplify this formula, let's do it like this. Lim fx greater than the name of L. Example, let's change it in L. Then greater than equal to gx. And now x going to A, right? A. Now, that's all to the quiz. I will give you some example. Here, some example. 3x greater than equal to what is x, f of x greater than 2 x squared plus 2. Now, going to x going to 1. Now, when we write it in algebra, it will be 3 greater than fx equal 1. Now, let's erase it and we use the squeeze theorem. Use some example of squeeze theorem. If 3x greater than equal to f of x going to x squared plus 2. Then, if the x is going to 1. Now, let's solve it in using squeeze. We use lim. Lim equal to first 3x. Now, let's change the x in 1. 3x times 1 equal to 3. Now, let's do the same in 3 squared plus 2. Plus 2. Let's change it. Oh my god, I'm wrong. 1 squared plus 2 equal to 3. Now, you will see 3x or simply change it like 3. 3 greater than equal to fx greater equal to 3. Now, we know that fx is equal to 3. Now, we can write it that 3 equal 3 equal 3. Simply, if x going to 1, it will be equal. That's a simple example of squeeze theorem. Thank you.